Doktor dah start ke? Doktor?
Assalamualaikum. Alamak, saya mute tak perasan.
Sebab tu dah lama.
Sorry. I'm mute. So it's okay. I can repeat because I have done daripada awal tadi ke?
Ya, doktor. Dari awal lagi.
Okay, sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. Actually, saya dah jawab soalan nombor 3 dah sebenarnya. Okay, I'm sorry. I try to repeat again. Okay, Assalamualaikum and selamat sejahtera and good night to everyone. So I'm sorry because I already answered the third question, but suddenly thank you very much to mention to me because I'm just mute. I'm sorry again because I cannot open my video, but the most important thing, I need to answer your question by question. Okay. Okay, number one, I repeat again. I need to answer question by Azhar Yusof. Okay, Azhar Yusof. Sorry, Azhar Yusof, because the question in Bahasa, I try to translate in English. The question is according to the positivism, research philosophy on the positivism. Okay, from the previously class, I already mentioned in mostly in quantitative research, use research philosophy positivism. But this is applied for both. Basically, in quantitative, we have two research strategies, survey and experiment. Okay, so basically, they are actually applied for both. The answer is yes. You should be understand what's meaning about positivism, what's meaning of quantitative research. Okay, if you want to study in quantitative, it's about phenomena already known, meaning that we just refer which the best and suitable theory can represent in your research. In quantitative, we can only use one theory if this one theory can represent and can be answer your research objective. No question at all. We can start a research quantitative for PhD, master, degree, diploma. You can use one theory only can represent in your research. But this one theory can be answered in your research? It depends. Certain case, we cannot use only one theory because in order to answer the all research objective question and hypothesis, we need more because you want to explore you want to structure explain according a certain additional or adaptive certain variable and construct. You want to add another variables. You want to test more details. You not just only want to study about the direct effect. You want to study about indirect effect. Yes, certain study have done previously, but not use these samples regarding because I'm used very large samples. So you want to test and in different different areas, and then you want to improvise by try to test others variables, something like that. But in generally, this topic is not new. Okay, because we can still use a theory, we can still read the literature review, and we just follow. Okay, that's meaning about positivism and quantitative. To represent on positivism, we are testing theory. So Azhar, if you want to study the experiment, you need to find the theory first. Because in survey, in experiment also, we need to test a theory. But in qualitative, it's not testing theory. They are theory building. So they start with phenomena, unclear phenomena. So we are not clear, we're not sure. This is a new thing. So we need to explore. We need to start with zero. Okay? Because in literature review not enough. We cannot refer just only one theory. One theory cannot be represent our research. We need more and more and more theory and models. Okay? So in experiment also, you need to use a theory for testing. Yes, I believe we have many type of experiment. Some instruments, some experiment not just only survey as instrument. They also use interview in experiment. Okay, that the most important. You need to detail about the interview. That the interview is structured or semi-structured and unstructured. If your research is about semi-structured and unstructured, you need to use both. Meaning that if you apply interview or observation also in your experiment, meaning that Azhar Yusof not enough only use positivism, Azhar Yusof need to add interpretism. Meaning that in this study, I use positivism and interpretism because my study not just based on the data primary from the questionnaire, but I'm still use other instrument like interview and observation. And this interview observation is not structured. This is a semi-structured and unstructured. In this case, Azhar Yusof, you need to apply both and positivism and interpretism. If you are not apply for interview and also you not apply any observation on semi-structured or unstructured, you still in quantitative and you still use positivism. Okay, right. That's question first from Azhar Yusof. Second question for Zikri Hafiz. Okay, can I in my study blend between research onion and DDR? Okay, very good approach. Okay, because we can differentiate. Basically, in the research, why some research use DDR? Because the good reason is because developments. They want to design and development. That's why most of research and according their research objective is match and tally with the DDR research design. Number one, their start research objective is to analyze according to need analysis. Research objective number two, basically they are combined to design and develop. Research objective number three, and you want to test usefulness, or you want to usefulness study kebolehgunaan. Okay, in this matter, why Zikri Hafiz use DDR is one reason, because in order to answer the research objective, we need to specifically, because our research is development. For example, module development, model development, you want to use the DDR. Okay, so in this matter of why Zikri Hafiz use DDR, because your research objective and your development is very friendly to apply for DDR. And many research support previously also use a DDR. Then you look another limitations. DDR is not enough in order to explain detail all research activity in research methodology, because in DDR not explain more deeper. That's why we need two sounders in order to explain research philosophy. Okay, in DDR not discuss about research philosophy. Yes, they have discussed, but little bit, just generally. In Sounders, discuss detail. So in your research, positivism, interpretism, critical realism, postmodernism, pragmatism, they have explained. Okay, that's why we need to also have another research design. Okay, we call that research onion to support that DDR. Okay, so this DDR and research onion become complement each other. Okay, so the answer is yes. Okay, number 2, boleh tak masukkan gambar raja research onion dan bulatkan? Yes. Basically, the answer is yes. You can copy the originals research onion from Saunders, and then you circle. For example, in my previously also I'm do the same thing. I just circle by use red color to show that what type of the for example, I circle red color on the research philosophy positivism, because I'm use the positivism. I just circle in the positivism, and then for the research approach, I just circle the deductive. Okay, you can do that until the research technique. Okay, the answer is yes. Number 3, semua perbahasan ini tulis, okay, this according to the research outline on the research design. Okay, basically, okay, you can also use the 3.1 introduction. 3.2 is about your research design. But I try to advise to Zikri Hafiz. For example, Zikri Hafiz, dia study on the PhD Islamic economic. Okay, so 3.1 introduction, 3.2 Islamic economic research. You need to write 3.2 Islamic economic research. Why? Not many people understand what's meaning of Islamic economic research. You can write 1 page, 2 page to explain to audience what's meaning. Why Islamic economic research are different with other field. Okay, you need to write 1 or 2 page according to what's meaning Islamic economic research. 3.3, then you write a research design. Okay, so you have 2 options, but you need to discuss with your main supervisor which are most suitable. You can write research design in 3.2, or you can add 3.2 as Islamic economic research, 3.3 as your research design. Okay, all right. I try to answer the question one by one. If you have another question, please write in chat, but I can reply until I have done to answer others' question first. Okay. From third one from Zukun. What is typical combination of 3 research method: productive, inductive, objective? I think that you are quite confused. It's not productive. Okay. So in this research, we have 3. We have 3. You should be clear. Okay. That's why you need to follow the video. You need to follow the slide. Which actually, in research approach, we have only 3. Inductive for qualitative research, deductive for quantitative research, and abductive for mixed method. I repeat again, in research philosophy, we have 3. Inductive for qualitative research, deductive for quantitative research, abductive for mixed method research. Okay. Objective with the qualitative and quantitative. This one also you are confusing. Quantitative is objectively. Qualitative is subjectively. That's why in qualitative subjective, I'm use 3 theory. Okay, subjective. You can use 5 theory, 6 theory, 7 theory, 8 theory, subjective. But in quantitative, objectively, you need to find accurate theory. You cannot make mistake. The most suitable in this research, I'm use this theory. That we call that objectively. Okay, right. So I'm go to another question by Yang Li. Can snowball sampling be used for sampling method for quantitative research? Okay, Yang Li. Before I'm trying to explain according your non-probability sampling by using the snowball sampling, you should be know that the process on the data collection procedure. Basically, we need to understand what is populations, what a sampling frame, what is sampling size, and sampling technique. According to your question, it's about sampling technique. In sampling technique, we have two, probability sampling and non-probability sampling. According to your question, snowball is under umbrella non-probability sampling. For example, we have purposive sampling, quota sampling, volunteer sampling, and snowball sampling. Okay, and quota also sampling. So in this case, snowball sampling according to non-probability sampling. What's the difference between non-probability sampling and probability sampling? So basically, according your population and directory. Okay, why I'm choose snowball? Very difficult to get and know and identify who your samples. So that's why in qualitative, they are try hard to find that related person in order to make interview. For example, the murder case. The murder case. For example, they have murder case, police have difficult to find suspect. At least from work hard day by day, suddenly they find that one suspect according the murder case. Then go to the police stations, we do investigations. We ask the suspect, why you do this? How you do this? Then suddenly they ask, this is not work from one person. I think that this is you do with your friends. Who's people that involved together in this murder case? That we call that snowball. Because the characteristic according very difficult to find the samples. If you quantitative research, very easy. My sample is teachers, workers, customer that work in this industry. There are too many industry in here. How come you want to use a snowball? How come you want to use a snowball? That's one reason. Number two, in quantitative, in order to make analysis, okay, you need 300, 400, 500 sample. You should be know that. In quantitative, you need large sample. In snowball, basically, we don't have many sample. The sample maybe 15, 16, 15, 16. Okay, let's say you use a snowball. Your sample only 15. What type analysis you want to use? If you want to study the correlation and regression, not enough samples. That's why you should be know that why you choose snowball. So the answer, can I apply the snowball? Yes. But what purpose? If you want to use a snowball, but still not enough sampling size, then you waste your time. Your approach is wrong. Because what's your unit analysis? My unit analysis is teacher. So teacher actually is not related on the snowball. Why you choose teacher? Teacher is easy to get the data. You can find 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 is easy. Why you choose snowball? Snowball is in this situation, you very, very difficult to find a samples. That we call that the snowball one. Okay, but I cannot say that it's wrong, but you need to know that what's meaning a snowball. For example, I try to make it another example. Let's say my study is experiment. In experiment, my minimum sample can be 15. So very difficult to find this 15. But then suddenly I'm use snowball in order to get the sample 15 because I want to study the experiment. Then I think snowball is the good choice. But if you want to study using the quantitative correlation, regression by using the SAM-Amos SPSS or the SAM-PLS, I don't think that snowball can be the good choice in your research technique. Okay, alright. The question by Zhang Yang. What's the advantage and disadvantage qualitative and quantitative research? I cannot be answer this question. If I try to answer this question, maybe take 10 hours to general question. There are many things about the qualitative and quantitative. So if I discuss, I cannot know that which area I need to start. Which thing I need to start to discuss about the qualitative and quantitative. There are many things difference. I just go a few example. For example, sample. Qualitative use the small sample. Quantitative use a big and large sample. Qualitative is about quality. Qualitative is about the quality matters, and quantitative is about quantity matters. Qualitative theory building. Quantitative is theory testing. Quantitative is objectivism. Qualitative is subjectivism. Common instrument in quantitative is survey and inventory. But in qualitative, common instrument is an interview, observation, and document. Okay. And then, according to analysis, in qualitative using inductive analysis. For example, look for pattern and thematics. But in quantitative, the analysis is deductive, based on the numerical and statistic. Okay, in terms of others, and according that I already mentioned about the research approach, in quantitative using deductive, qualitative using inductive. So that's why we cannot be generally the question. If you ask me the advantage and disadvantage according to qualitative and quantitative, many things we did need to discuss. I need to cover more than the 10 years. Not 10 years, 10 hours in order to make it the explanation. This is a biggest question lah, and so you need to specify what your question specifically on quantitative or qualitative. Okay. All right. Thank you for Zhang Yang. So next from Satya Sela. Okay. We need to have all these three philosophy assumption in our research. Okay, that I'm not sure your questions. What's meaning three philosophy? What's meaning three philosophy? According to the slide, we are basically represent on the we have 5 research philosophy. Positivism, okay, then interpretism, pragmatism, critical realism, and postmodernism. But I try to understand according your understanding. I think that you're looking for these 3 philosophy. One is positivism for quantitative research. Second, interpretism for qualitative research. Third, pragmatism for the mixed method. The question is, you want what type of your research choice? What is your research choice? Quantitative, qualitative, or mixed method? If you use mixed method, your pragmatism, your philosophy become abductive. Pragmatism. If you are actually qualitative research, you are interpretism. If you are quantitative, you are actually positivism. Okay, I have two options. Let's say I try to study research mixed method. Okay, in mixed method. So mixed method, option number 1, I'm use pragmatism. Okay, option number 1, I use pragmatism. A second option, I'm use both, meaning that I'm use positivism and interpretism. Okay, next, if I'm use only qualitative, so my research philosophy is interpretism. If I'm use only one quantitative, my research philosophy is positivism. Okay, right. So the next question from Wing Ling Ling. Okay. My question is, will the workload be too heavy if qualitative and quantitative research method are used? No. My answer is no, because mixed method can be solved by objective. For example, if I'm study objective number 1 in quantitative, So I just go for quantitative. My second objective is qualitative. So I go to data collection in qualitative. But you need to have the good plan. So the heavy is not, but you need to study very clear. Because if you want to study the questionnaire, you need to have one set instrument. You need to prepare the questionnaire because you want to answer the question number 1 for quantitative. You need have questionnaire set. Okay, one set. Second thing, you want to study interview. So you need to another set. We call that interview question. That the difference. Let's say I'm study quantitative. I'm just use one set of questionnaire. Your friend study on qualitative research only. So they have only one set of interview question. But in yourself, because you are study research design, you need to have more. You need to have 2 research instrument set. One instrument on questionnaire, another instrument is the interview. That's the difference. A second point is according to study, according to knowledge. Let's say your friend go to the class, study on the methodology quantitative for quantitative research. As the qualitative research, go to the qualitative research, research methodology, go to the research analysis more specifically. But in yourself, you need to go both class. You need to go to quantitative class. You want to go to the quantitative research method analysis. After that, you need to go to the class in qualitative research methodology. You need to go the qualitative analysis on the qualitative. Okay, so you need to learn more. You need to know the difference between quali and quanti. You cannot be skipped. If you have developed the questionnaire, you need to develop the interview question also. Okay, but I think that quite challenge, but still positive. But the positive thing, if you want to study in qualitative and quantitative, so maybe, I call that maybe, if you are studying quantitative, you just select and choose the article journal from quantitative study only. If you are studying qualitative study, according to find good article journal, you just find the qualitative research only. But if you are studying the mixed method, you get more and more and more article because you need to read both. You need to read quantitative research also, you need to read the qualitative research. So in terms of numbers, your article is much bigger rather than the one or mono method. Let's say a quantitative research, maybe read journal 200. Okay, if you are studying qualitative research, you need to read 300 article journal. If you are studying mixed method, you need to read 500 article journal. Okay, but for me, very positive. Some people looking that mixed method is become trouble or more complex, but depend. If you are study qualitative, use interview. The interview, very simple interview. I'm just use the semi-structured, a very short, very straightforward. And then for quantitative, I'm use descriptive because a very simple analysis, no problem. Okay, much simple analyze, simple data collection can be a research design also. If you want to study research design, don't bring complex situation. Your quantitative, you try more, study deeper, many variables, many items. You have many and many question on the questionnaire. So you try to analyze many things. You want to study direct effect, indirect effect. You want to study many and many things. So that's become issues. But if you are smart, yes, my study is research design, but I know what I'm trying to do. In order to answer my research objective number 1, I'm use quantitative but descriptive only. But the second question for the interview, I don't have many questions. In order to answer my research question number 2, I just ask the question 6 question. So not many people, I just to interview around 10 to get the saturated. So this is about your plan. Don't make it the complex activity. But for the generally, I don't say that the mixed method become big issue if you are apply the mixed method. Okay, never mind, no problem. But you need to know the differentiate between quantitative and qualitative. There are many things you should be deeper to understand, and then to make it clear these two research methodology. Okay, all right. Okay, next, For example, this question for the Wing Ling Ling. For example, when conducting investigation and research, how to grasp the quantity and qualitative standard, how to selection the object, how much can be illustrative or presentative to explain the problem and reflect the substantive problem, is there any method or bias for reference? That's why, in order to write problem statement, you need to make it very clear. According your problem statement, we already know that this research can be solved by quantitative or qualitative or the mixed method. Okay, for example, I give one example. According to the interview, work interview to get the promotion. Okay, you want nak naik pangkat for promotion thing. Okay, so you basically they have used two methods. We call that qualitative and quantitative. We are start with the quantitative. You need to fulfill all the requirement. You need to fulfill the all requirement. So after you have completed all the requirement, and then we can fill the form in order to get the promotion because you have already complete all criteria. That we call that quantitative. So we can quantify. Already complete the all KPI that you capable to get the promotion. So you fill a form in order to get the promotion because you have complete in everything. That we call that quantitative. Next, we do some selective, and then you are selective to get the promotion. The second step, you need to go to the interview. So we need to ask a few questions about you before we choose you and before you get this promotion. So we do the second part is the interview. It's common interview. You send the CV first. Once you send the CV, that we call that based on the structured document. That become the quantitative. But suddenly, shortlisted, you need to came to the company for the second section. We have 1-to-1 section interview. So that's why in order to selective new workers, we need to apply mixed method because we have first section in quantitative. If you are okay, so you need to go next section. We need have the 1-to-1 qualitative section. So that's become the mixed method. Okay, you should be know the difference between this. In order to, for let's say your problem, we have always problem turnover workers. And coming and go very fast, and that our turnover is very high. Why the company facing the turnover very high? Because the selective of the new employee not structured. Okay, we just only for looking that, oh, you get the 4 flat, you are very good result. That's already we choose this person in your company workers. But this thing have limitation and problem or weaknesses. That's why in order to solve your problem, you need to have the solution. In terms of to get the solution, you don't have the option, and because no option, sorry, you cannot be use the same thing, but you need to try another solution, but best prediction and best solution. That's why from one method need to go to the mixed method, because mixed method somehow we call that intelligent, because it not depend only one method. So weaknesses from quantitative can be covered for the qualitative research. In other ways, if the qualitative have some weaknesses, these weaknesses can be covered by quantitative methodology. Okay, all right. Okay, sorry, I need to go to another question by Gu Jun Yang. My question is different between theoretical framework and conceptual framework. Okay, for this part of question, I plan for one class in order to discuss about the theoretical framework and conceptual framework. Okay, we have, I'm not sure, maybe next week, maybe next 2-3 following weeks, I have one topic to discuss about theoretical framework, conceptual framework, and research framework. But today, because we have question from Gu Jun Yang, so I little bit make it difference, make it definition and make it different between these two framework. Theoretical framework is the original one. We cannot be extend, you cannot be modified. So this is from original source. You just take from previously research framework. You just copy and paste. You take the original framework from previously. You can get from the previous research or you can get from the theory owner. Take the diagram or framework as your theoretical framework. Why we need theoretical framework? Because before you start in your research, we need have some basic. Okay, we cannot be start in your research without any basic. So we need basic. That's why we need theoretical framework. In this matter, part of the theoretical framework, please not modify. Or you want to come up your own theoretical framework. Cannot be. Theoretical framework is the original from previous study. Just copy and paste. No need to modify. That we call that theoretical framework. Conceptual framework, because after you get the theory, suddenly you come up with the theoretical framework, you need to read a lot article on the empirical research. What meaning empirical research? Meaning that you need to read article related in your research objective, that the research have introduction, literature review, method, analysis, discussion, conclusion. You need to read the full article journal, that somehow we call that empirical article journals that represent in your study, can assist and can become to be support and argument in your research, why you want to test, why you want to study this topic, that support through literature review. So based on literature review, you find that many things can be improved, many ideas, something like enhanced study from previous study. So you want to study to become novelty. You cannot be used theoretical framework because you cannot replicate from the theoretical. But you need to extend from theoretical framework. So conceptual framework is extension from theoretical framework. Why and how you need to extension? Because on literature review. From article journal, from literature review, they have suggest what's next. You need to take challenge and little bit positive risk to continue previous research. Previous research, they already suggest, okay, in the future research, need to extend my framework, try to add another variables, need to explore in the internal and external things. Okay, so previous research already mentioned about limitation and give the suggestion. If you take this suggestion to extend the theoretical model, automatically we call conceptual framework. Conceptual framework is original from yourself. Why I call it original? Because it's not 100% copy from the previously. You need to add certain thing to make it difference. Yes, I know that you come up with a new conceptual framework is not 100% new. I repeat, it's not 100% new. You just adapt. You just modify from the theoretical framework. Why? Because you need to extend. How to extend? You need to read a lot of article journal. Suddenly, you know that how to be extend, how to be improved from previously that represent on theoretical framework. Yes, we need theoretical framework. Yes, for the first step, we need to theoretical framework. But in order to read in currently, recently, from literature review perspective, we need to extend. So the extend one that we call that conceptual framework. Okay. So this part is I need to show the slide and example, but not today. So just a little bit to make it difference between theoretical and conceptual framework. Conceptual framework, you can copyright. We can copyright in MyPo in order to protect my models by conceptual framework, because conceptual framework is a my study. It's not copy from previously. If you just copy and paste from the previously, we call that the theoretical framework. In the location, in the first initial literature review, you write theoretical framework. But conceptual framework in the last section in your literature review. The location also the different. Theoretical framework should be in the initial stage in the literature review, but for the conceptual framework is the end of the literature review. Okay, because we need, before you need to propose a conceptual framework, you need to have complete, you need to read detail. The last one, after you have done literature review, then you can come up your conceptual framework. You cannot come up with the conceptual framework without any detail on the literature. That's why I mentioned that after you have complete your conceptual framework, you need to close your literature review by proposed conceptual framework. Okay, right. So I go to the next one from Joseph David. I have two parts question. First, can both the qualitative and qualitative research method employ in research project? Yes. If you using both, that's why we call that mixed method research. If you use only one, we call that mono method. If I'm use qualitative only, that we call that mono method qualitative. I use only one qualitative, that's why we call that mono method quantitative study. If you use both, we call that mixed method research. The answer is yes. If the answer to the question is yes, how do we reconcile the issues and difference between deductive and deductive? Because in your objective and research question, because you are actually blended according that something that you are clear and another things are actually unclear. Part of clear thing, phenomena already knows, you use the quantitative. But certain thing, in order to solve the problem statement, you need to base on idealism. Literature review is not covered. If a literature review is unclear according this matter, so that's why you need to have to qualitative research. Okay, and that situation. Okay, we cannot depend only in that situation, in your problem statement, we cannot depend on quantitative only. To make it clear, we need to support by qualitative research. The same also, in this research cannot be only depend on qualitative. We need to generalize. We need to confirm this is an accurate one. So we need to blend with the qualitative research and quantitative research. That's why in the research, we need to know that about, you need to mastering on research philosophy. If you're not mastering research philosophy and research approach, you cannot be decide in your research that I'm use the mono method or the mixed method. Okay, the third one that you should be know the underpinning conceptual. So we have three underpinning conceptual. We call that ontology, epistemology, and axiology. You need to ready because according your proposal defense and viva, the panel will ask you. For example, I ask Joseph, can you explain according your research, what is your ontology, epistemology, and axiology? You need to explain because from your answer that we know that in your research it's quantitative, qualitative, or mixed method. The panel will ask you straightforward. Okay, Joseph, can you explain according your research, what is your axiology, ontology, and epistemology? From your answer, we know that your research are more suitable in quality or quantity of the mixed method. That thing you should be know that and certain how much important research philosophy and research paradigm. Okay, so many things that I already discussed, so repeating, just to repeat again, you need to know that how deductive is based on the theory. We need to test the theory, basically top down. We need to flow. You need to have the theory. First, you need theory. Then suddenly you need to propose, sorry, not propose. You need to show your theoretical framework also. You need base of literature review. That become your top down. Everything in very good flow. Why qualitative cannot be a top down? Everything start with your finding. We don't have the theoretical framework. Literature review, just increase understanding and meaningful. That's it. We cannot be testing. So if you want to framework, you want to know that where your research framework, please wait until I get the finding. That's why framework in qualitative from research finding. That's why you need to know that. Don't ask your friend in qualitative where your research framework. And so suddenly your friend become blur or not sure to answer. Because the answer is, if you ask me about research finding, meaning that my research is done because research framework from research finding. If you want to my research framework, you need a finding. In quantitative, we need research hypothesis before you collect data. Okay? Before you collect data. In qualitative, hypothesis is actually finding. After you get the finding, suddenly I have the hypothesis. You know the make a difference between quantitative and qualitative. Where your hypothesis, oh, hypothesis generating, yes, my hypothesis generating after I get the finding. Where your research framework? Oh, my research framework after I get the research finding. If the proposal defense asks you, I think they try to make it a trick question. Qualitative don't have the research framework and hypothesis. Yes, I have the research framework and hypothesis after I get the finding, which is not from the proposal defense in the Viva. Yes, in the Viva, I can show your research framework and hypothesis. But now for proposal defense in qualitative don't have the research framework and hypothesis. But in quantitative research, must. Yes. In proposal defense, dependent asks you where your theoretical framework, where your conceptual framework, what a theory you choose, why you choose this theory, why you need to test a theory, where literature review support in all this matter, how you develop questionnaire, where your literature review support your questionnaire. For questionnaire number 1, item number 1, you refer who? Can you show me, according to questionnaire number 1, please show me which page number, which paragraph, which line can represent the questionnaire number 1. You go to the question number 2. Can show me, according to this question, based on literature review, which page, which paragraph, which line. That we call that quantitative because it's accurate. We cannot be try to cheating in quantitative. Whatever thing, whatever you write, you need to have proof. But qualitative, never mind, because it's idealism. If you want to more, if you want to confirm, please wait, please patient, because all the answer from the finding is not from the literature review. Okay. Okay, next question by Shahira. Most thesis yang saya jumpa tak ada spesifik or separate the research philosophy, dan bila saya lihat video research philosophy ini di-explain dalam research design method atau kena spreadkan untuk lebih baik. Okay, Shahira, I think that you are not refer good thesis. If you are refer the good thesis, they are actually must. They actually must. Don't look of your friend's thesis or from downgrade thesis. Okay, you look at degree thesis or master thesis. You need to look the best student thesis. Okay, this is not just only Malaysia, this is worldwide. If you read research methodology book, you can buy research methodology book, whatever books, they start with the research design. In research design, step number 1, need to explain about research philosophy. Yes, during my degree, I noticed I'm not studying research philosophy. I can blame my lecturer because lecturer not teach me about the research philosophy. During my master, yes, I'm start with not study on research philosophy, but during the section Viva, I become blur because the first question to the panel asked me, what is your research philosophy? Okay, that thing that I'm start 2004, I noticed research philosophy is most important. Okay, then suddenly when I open my research methodology book, then I start to learn about research philosophy. Then I notify why no friend mentioned to me before you know that your research is quantitative and qualitative, you need to justify first. According your current situation, according your research capability, and you can be know that, and based on your problem statement and objective, you can be know that which one is much better, is qualitative and quantitative. But before that you are confirmed, you need to check through the philosophy and approach also. Based on decision on the philosophy and approach, suddenly you can know that what is your research choice. Method, your research choice is quantitative and qualitative. Okay, so yes, you can what we call that, you can skip on the research philosophy and research approach. That how you want to answer if your supervisor and or your assessor ask you during your proposal defense and Viva. Okay, so I think that you need to know that how to find very good thesis. Okay, try to find the best top 10 university in the world. You try to go to Oxford University and go to the what else? Cambridge University, MIT University, and National University Singapore universities. Okay, because National University Singapore ranking number 8 right now. Okay, there are many good thesis in the world. Okay, if you're in Malaysia, you can go to the UM thesis. Okay, most of that in the social science. I talk about the social science. If you are actually science background, I can consider yes, you can skip for the research philosophy. Okay, why research philosophy? If you are PhD for what? PhD for what? P for what? P philosophy. If you are study PhD, P is philosophy. In my case, no problem because my study is doctorate engineering. I'm not PhD, I'm doctorate engineering. If I'm not use the philosophy, it's okay because I'm practitioner. I'm from the industry. That's why I not choose the PhD because PhD for philosophy. I'm from industry. That's why I go to the practitioner. That's why I apply to doctorate. I not apply PhD. But I have PhD also. 2012, I'm studying for PhD for the second one. That's why I have the experience regarding the doctorate and the PhD. Okay, my Viva not just only in UTM, my Viva in the industry. And I need to attach 1 year industry. If you are study philosophy, you no need to attach industry. You can stay at home, you can stay in a library, you just follow whatever from the theory, whatever you can read whatever from literature review. But industry, we are not depend only on literature review. We need more practical and realistic. It's about realistic. To be realistic, you need to go to the lab. We need to go to the industry because my study is about reality. Whatever is thing is actually you need to the tangibles. But in social science, whatever we are follow the theory, whatever the theory mentioned, you need to follow. Whatever the literature review mentioned, you need to follow. So this is not the reality represent because in most of article journal is from the academicians, but industry is about the real life. Okay, that's why something being little bit different. Okay, if you are study PhD, for example, if you are study PhD, so you cannot be run away on the philosophy because P is stand for philosophy. Okay, right. So basically, in the first area in the research design, we discuss about the research philosophy. Somehow we are a little bit terminologies. They are not used. This is not called of research philosophy. They call that research paradigm. We call that research paradigm. Okay. All right. Next, from Mas Aida, what's the difference between research design and research approach? Oh, your question is actually our topic on slide. How I'm trying to explain with you cannot be explained 5 minutes and 10 minutes in question to big question. Research design is I just explain on definition. Research design represent the all activity to answer your research objective number 1, number 2, and number 3, number 1. Okay, first thing first, in your research objective number 1, what research activity need to be used? Okay, I have 10 activity. Activity 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, go to the objective number 2. Okay, first step, what should we do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So until your research objective number 4, how to answer your research objective number 4, you need to have step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That we call that research design. If you want to cook and nak masak kan, mesti ada bahan-bahannya. Kena siapkan perkakasnya. Kena ada gas, something like that. That we call that research design. Without research design, we cannot do a research. Okay. What between research approach? Research approach, we have 3. Inductive, deductive, and abductive. If you are actually mixed method, abductive. If you are qualitative, you inductive. If you are quantitative, you deductive. What meaning? In quantitative, deductive. That's why we no need to more theory. Why you need to more theory? You are actually deductive. Deductive meaning that you can start with 1. Why the qualitative is inductive? If you are not saturated, I have done interview 10, but not saturated. Go to the interview. Go to the interview until you saturated. What's meaning saturated? Tepu. Tepu meaning that if you go to the interview, still get something new knowledge you get. You interview A, you get something new. You go to the interview B, you get another thing. You go to you cannot be saturated. That's why we call that inductive. You cannot be stop data collation until saturated. That we call that inductive. So, sebab tu kualitatif ni kena tambah lah. Teori tambah lagi. Muka surat tambah lagi. Okay, analisis tambah lagi. Sampel tambah lagi. In quantitative, no. Kenapa tulis panjang sangat ni? Buang muka surat. Teori kenapa banyak? Buang teori. Kenapa soal sidik banyak? Buang soal sidik. Because in quantitative is deductive. To become balanced regarding inductive and deductive, we need to use both that we call the abductive for mixed method. Most of the people in my study choose established scale that I have been validated by multiple people. Would it be appropriate if I choose just developed scale based on the Chinese scenario? Okay, actually it's based on your problem statement. Okay, if you want to study in Malaysia, if you want to study in the Chinese, okay, let's say my friend study in UK, in Oxford, but the sample in Malaysia, they are study in England, but the sample in Malaysia. No issue at all. You can use a sample in the Chinese. But the most important thing, this problem for Chinese or not? When we looking at, oh, this is not problem statement for your country. This is not problem statement for the scenario in Chinese scenario. Why you choose as Chinese as your sample? Okay, first thing first is based on issues and problem. If your issues and problem statement are most suitable, look for the sample and Chinese scenario, yes, you can choose on Chinese. No problem at all. You can study not only, if you want to study in Zimbabwe, then go. You want to study in Saudi Arabia, then go. But the most important, why I choose this country? Because are most suitable, the best suitable to represent my problem and issue according this country. That's the most important. Okay. So regarding on the use of single scale and multiple scale. Okay, this is according to answer your objective and question. You cannot be simply, I want to more easier. I use one scale. I not use a multiple scale. For qualitative, for example, how come you treat by single sample? Okay, you need to use the multiple perspective stakeholders in order to answer your question and research objective. Okay, so that most important the scale. So once you want to highlight about scale, you should be more clear. So many things. So we have the reliability scale, we have validator scale, we have quantitative scale, we have qualitative scale, we have case study scale. But according to the question, I'm not sure which area you want to focus. Okay. Liu Xiangjing, the question about the quantitative research. Okay. How to find literature on research philosophy and research method? First, buy a book. Buy a book. All research methodology can start explaining according research philosophy and research method. Okay, as the research, as your PhD research, how many research methodology you have read? And during my PhD, I read 50 research methodology books. I read 50 books on research methodology in order to solve my PhD work and my doctorate work. Okay, so if you not read the research methodology book, then you ask this question. How to get this information about quantitative, how I get this philosophy. All the book on research methodology are explained on this one. Okay, in which section? In research design. Please read, don't read research methodology book just only 100 or 200 page. Most of research methodology book is actually 500, 600. In my case, I have book 900 page in one book on research methodology. So in that, they are much detailed. If you want to know about, please looking on the thesis. Most of the thesis, a good thesis in quality thesis, they are explained on research philosophy in the research methodology chapter inside on the research design section. Okay, all right. So we go to another question by Zhang Taoping. Qualitative analysis and quantitative analysis. Which analysis is more appropriate in graduate field in higher proportion? Higher proportion is better to deeper scope in the paper content and broader. Okay, the most thing, I cannot be answered according your question which one much better in qualitative and quantitative. Okay, that's why we start in our topic. You need to know that in your problem statement, in your research background, research background according your issues. and problem statement recording your research problem. Okay, and in order to answer your research issue and research problems, okay, then we also study a research philosophy and research approach. Next, you can know that in your research it's quantitative and qualitative. But I'm try according your question. Very difficult to answer according your question. Just I'm use the higher proportion. If I'm use the keyword of proportion, it's represent on qualitative research. Okay, because I use a keyword, because you mentioned with the higher proportion, it's better to deeper. So keyword of proportion and deeper is a qualitative words. Quantitative, not use a word proportion and deeper. So if you this keyword can represent on qualitative analysis. My answer according your question. According your question, proportion and deeper that represent on qualitative research. Zayu, if my research aim to understand relationship, so your keyword is relationship. Okay, meaning that quantitative. In order to test a theory, a model, quantitative research the most appropriate, such as measuring factor that affect student performance, evaluating relationship between. Yes, this is not question, Zayu. You give me answer. You just show me I want to study relationship, so I need to have theory to test a theory. So yes, theory is most important to make it appropriate. You want to study your topic. So I'm not sure Zayu, so this is not question because you give me the answer. I guess the answer, I repeat the answer. Yes. Quantitative, you can study relationship. You need to have the theory to test the theory. So you want to measuring factor that affects student. Yes, the measure factor that affect blah 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 blah. Yes, this is a quantitative research. Okay. Go Fang. I have confusion about the research method. If you have confused a research method, why you study PhD and master? Okay, is the questionnaire a qualitative? You are big confusing. It's not small, but you have trouble and big confused. You need know the basic, and I'm not sure Go Fang, but your question is actually degree level. And in let's say in UPSI, most of our student degree have done class on the research methodology, because in the level of the bachelor level, they have subject on research method. But it's okay. But you need to work hard, because your question I quite afraid, because you still not clear regarding, yeah, it's not much easier to understand about qualitative and quantitative, but little bit. This is a very little bit and basic thing. Okay, qualitative not use questionnaire as the main instrument. Yeah, please remember that. Yes, I'm the qualitative. I can use the questionnaire, but not a main instrument. The main instrument for qualitative interview, observation, and document. But for quantitative, it's based on the questionnaire and inventory. Okay, all right. I have received several explanations online, but I'm not sure which one is accurate. I would like to hear your opinion about this. Okay, let's see. All right. Okay, this one everyone need to clear. Okay, don't try to hard understand about the instrument. Okay, some people try to make it very simple explanation. I'm quantitative. That's why I'm use questionnaire only. Yes, I'm qualitative research. I'm use interview question only. Okay. Yes, you get some little bit point here. Okay, but in answer in total right, you need to much clear on the my second argument. In quantitative research, yes, we are commonly use questionnaire. But I'm still can use interview. No problem. Are you sure quantitative can use interview? Yes. What's the problem? Because my question interview is the structured question. You go to the restaurant, kan? Abel tu tanya, nak minum apa? Nak makan apa? That we call that structured question. The answer is what? Nasi goreng, Milo ais. This is not the question according to more deeper, more clearer, more detail deeper. No, this is a structured question. If the question asks about when, who, where, Bila, kat mana. Kan kita tanya, bila di mana, where, how, kan? Sorry, how pula. Where, who, when. So that's question we call the structured question. So in quantitative can use interview. No problem. Okay, I'm quantitative also, but I'm use observation. My friend told me observation is qualitative. Yes, observation. You mentioned in qualitative. Yes, because the common observation used in qualitative. So in my case, I'm still need use observation in my quantitative. Okay. For example, I want go to the school. I want to calculate how many tables, how many chair. The audit work. As the auditor, you can check how many TV, how many radio, how many chair, how many table. That thing we call the structured observation. If you are actually structured observation, structured interview, structured document, you still in quantitative research. Let's say I'm qualitative. My main instrument is interview, but I'm still need use questionnaire. Can I use questionnaire? The answer is yes. Why? Because I want to use the questionnaire for demography, male, female, something like that, demography section. So I have a few questions. Okay, all my questions don't have hypothesis. You can use the questionnaire, but the item no need to analyze through hypothesis. No need to test the hypothesis. Okay, let's say you want to study the differentiate. Cannot be in qualitative because it differentiate, the answer is significant. If you want to use the questionnaire in qualitative, yeah, you can still use questionnaire, but you not measure and analysis significant matters. We call that, in specifically, we call descriptive. If you use in questionnaire, but just use descriptive analysis meaning that you get to mode, Paretos, percentage, mean, standard deviation. Yes, you still in qualitative. But if you want to test relationship, suddenly cannot be use a questionnaire to measure the relationship, because relationship, this we call that quantitative. So you have border. Don't be confused. Don't be too, what we call, too rigid. Kau ni ajaran sesat. Mana boleh? No, you not understand. Okay, you not understand. In research, no issue at all. Qualitative can use questionnaire, quantitative they can use interview, but you need to understand about philosophy and approach. Okay, we are not subjectively. Yeah, I'm used the interview, but I'm not subjectively. I'm structured. All my question is straightforward. Okay, and that very very straightforward. Meaning that the answer is structured. It's not based on opinion. It's not based on experience. No. What is your name? This is not opinion. This is not based on experience. Okay, just straightforward answer. That can be to be as the structured interview. That we know that all the structured can be also on the quantitative. But in qualitative, it based on the personally argument, based on the experience, based on your perception. Based on the experience. And okay, that they explain details through the feeling, through the emotion, and something like that. Okay, right. Nur Ashikin, do we have to follow Saunders research and when doing our research design, or there are any other research? Okay, Nur Ashikin, when we read book business research method through Saunders, they have their research design. You read book from Creswell, they have their research design. You read book the Bogi and Sekaran, they have the research design. All book, they have specifically research design. Then you as researcher, you need to choose where are most suitable research design in your research in order to answer your objective question and hypothesis. So the answer, yes, we cannot depend only in book Saunders. because they have many and many hundred book and research design. You can choose which one are most suitable in your research in order to answer your research objective and research question. Okay. The next question from Azwina. When quantitative and qualitative result does not match in contradictory, what do in the mixed method research design? Okay, Azwina, the best thing to answer in this part, we call that validity. Validity is not depend in one approach and one method. If we use only quantitative, we only depend on quantitative. If you use in qualitative, you only depend on qualitative. Okay, if you use mixed method, you actually complement. The weaknesses on qualitative can cover on quantitative. Begitulah sebaliknya. Okay, why we use mixed method? Mixed method is not trend. It's not something like, oh, ramai sekarang go to the mixed method, then you go to the mixed method. The most important thing in order to answer your objective and research question. Some situation cannot be used in quantitative because not enough sample. You cannot be measure quantitative because no theory can represent in your research because this is a new phenomenon. In this situation, you want still use in quantitative. How come you want to use a quantitative? Because it's a new topic. How come you want to use a quantitative if sample not enough? How you want to develop questionnaire without any specific literature review? If you are studying new topic, you don't have very specific previous study, meaning that you cannot be right literature review by empirically. So how you want to develop questionnaire? How you want to develop? Because questionnaire based on literature review. All literature review, no previous study done in this cover topic. How you want to develop your questionnaire? Meaning that you no option. You need to study on the qualitative. In this case, mix. Certain thing we can use quantitative because literature and theory have covered. Oh, the third question, the third objective and fourth objective, this is a truly new topic, not covered on theory and literature review. So suddenly you need to have the qualitative, meaning that in order to answer my four objectives, objective number 1 and 2, I use quantitative, objective number 3 and 4 in qualitative. That's why become mixed method, because in order to answer objective number 1 to 4, you need to use both. And right. Okay, what is operational definition of variable intelligent and attractiveness? You ask me, Wikna Priya, about the operational definition of the variable intelligent attractiveness. I think you are wrong class actually. You don't ask me about content, okay? Because our class is not class intelligent and attractiveness. Okay, this class is research method. I cannot be answer your question. Okay, I try to answer another thing. What's meaning of operational definition? OD we call that. Operational definition is something like the key or term that the main term represent in your research. Please explain clearly, very short, straightforward, but very clear what mean this word can represent in your thesis. If me or your supervisor or assessor, when they read your thesis, they must read in your OD, because we need to respect what's meaning this keyword to represent in your thesis. Don't try to write more and more. Just write short, very clear to make people easy and relate in your research. I'm sorry. So this is not related question. Why you ask me the question about intelligent interactiveness? So I think this is wrong class. So because our class is research method, it's not class content. You need to go class technology or class entrepreneurship. You need go. I'm not sure the intelligent interactiveness which term feels. You need to go the content class. It's not class research methodology. Okay, because in research methodology we not discuss about the definition operational specific thing. Okay. Shaira, I'm doing qualitative and my participant, yes, correct. Qualitative basically use participant, we not call the respondent. For IV is focused on parent. Then I'm not sure the IV is variable. I believe that IV is interview. And you mentioned, but we have be careful. Some kind we call that IV also independent variable, but because you are studying qualitative, I think IV is an interview. It's focused on parents and their children experience in abuse, injury, and neglect in care curriculum. The suitable if I'm using phenomenon as my research strategy. Okay, you should be know that. Thank you the question because the Shaira asked about the research strategy. So in qualitative, we have many research strategy. We have phenomenology, we have ethnography, we have case study, we have action research, we have grounded theory, historical research, narrative research. Okay, what's meaning of phenomenology? Okay, phenomenology is something like, yes, this is social research. We need to more clear on certain case. We need to go the field works more specifically in order to do some interview, not enough interview, need to observe. Also, we need to go to the specific place. Okay, this become phenomena because we cannot be only read certain book to understand the phenomena. No option. So in case you want to know that this issue, only have one option, you need to go there. So you need to do some interview, not just one time, maybe have multiple time because you need to understand about phenomena. If just you say that this phenomena, but just ask 1-2 questions that you get the answer, that we call that phenomenon. And you not go the specific place, you call that phenomenon. This is not phenomenon. If not phenomenon, you need go there. Okay. In term logic matter, I cannot get the answer. Why? I'm sure why topic. Why parents from the children experience abuse, injury? Why? I cannot think. I need go to that place. I need to ask the question through the parent. I need to look the children. I need go to their home. I need to check at the school. I need to check document. I need to check. Many things I need to ask and interview these people. That become the phenomenology. Okay, why still happen? Why every people? Yeah, we are clear about this matter, but still have other things. We are still not clear. That can be a phenomenology. You should be know, Shahira, phenomenology is basic. All research qualitative have phenomenology. But in this case, you want to use phenomenology as your research strategy. You can use that. Okay, phenomenology meaning that not specific. This one is not ethnography because we are not comparing a culture. This is not case study because my topic is not uniqueness. Okay, this is not grounded theory because I'm not propose a new theory. This is not this is not actual research because I'm not the real research. I'm not based on the community. This is not what else. This is not historical and achiever research. Okay, because I'm not based on chronology. This is actually the pure phenomenon because I cannot be say that this is a case study. No, I can go through all the research strategy. We can check. This is not case study. This is an ethnography. This is not grounded theory. Then suddenly, the only one can be a suitable in your research strategy is just a phenomenon. Then suddenly you decide a phenomenon. Okay, that the way I'm choose, the way I'm do lah. Before I before I confirm this a phenomenon, I need to check first. I need to have the comparison. I need go one by one. Case study uniqueness. In my case, this is not uniqueness. Then delete the case study. Actual research. If you want, I want to use actual research, I should have experience in this topic. I need very clear on the subject matters. I need to have the experience. Okay, in my case, I'm still fresh graduate. I don't work the industry. I don't face that issues. So I cannot do actually. Basically, actually research a practitioner. Not fresh graduate, not suitable to study actual research. Okay, if you want to study actual research, you need to have the experienced people. I'm teacher, 20 years at old. 20 years experience as a teacher. So I want to study actual research, no problem. In which title, which type? I want to study about my student in Form 4. This is my student. I'm the teacher. That suddenly you can use actual research because actual research need very good and high cooperative. And you also capability and you are really understand about the case and scenario. Okay, that finally that you decide the phenomenon. Okay, no problem. Okay, next question. Yang Li, in quantitative analysis, does the choice of analytical tool need to be informed? For example, whether to choose SPSS, AMO, or to be used or both. Okay, Yang Li, you mentioned about the methodology. In your literature review, have discussed already. According to Ahmad, study the relationship between A and B by using the AMOS, show that blah, 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 blah. Okay, others research by Ali, a study on the direct effect, indirect effect, use the same PLF analysis. In your literature review, we can see the discussion from the previous study. And for your research methodology in the chapter 3, you need to explain specifically. We call that a research analysis. In chapter 3, we have section we call research analysis. Okay, in this study, in order to answer my research objective, I'm use this analysis. I'm use inductive analysis. I'm use regression analysis. Okay, I'm use descriptive analysis. In order to use the descriptive analysis, I'm use a software. The software is a SPSS version 2.8. Why I choose SPSS? SPSS is the software can generating from the capture from the data towards the friendly represent on statistic to show the output and can be interpret from the output. You can like explain one sentence or two sentence, not much, but you need to explain, you need to show you justify an argument, whatever that you use in this study, according to method, according to theory, according to variable, according to analysis, according to software, you need to explain just short but clear. Okay. Assalamualaikum. Saya nak tanya quantitative research strategy. Okay, quantitative research. We only have experimental and survey, right? Can you explain what is the difference? I'm little bit confused. Farah, if you want study, for example, experimentals, we can use t-test. We can use ANOVA, MANOVA, MANCOVA. It's basically in the social science experiment. This is not pure lab. We are not science stream. You are actually science. We use a lab for the experiment. We do try and error. But in social science experiment, you have two groups, for example. One group for experiment, one group is not experiment. You want to check. Let's say you have module. So you have come up with specific module. And you already develop a new model to teach. New module. You create your own this new module. So you want to check this module okay or not. So you need to have experiment. So one class use this new module. Others class not use your module. They use previous module. So you not compare your module and previous module, which one much better and much efficient. So that's why you need to experiment. Okay, you cannot be just develop but no need test. In order to test, you need to make it the experiment to prove that this module are much better. It's good compared with the previous one. All right. In survey, basically used in quantitative, you prepare the questionnaire. Questionnaire have the section 1. So you just go online or offline, you send the questionnaire, the people just circle the answer. Suddenly you key in the SPSS analysis to get the value less than 0.05 is significant and significant. Okay, so in questionnaire, is actually not do the experiment. It just go to collect the data. Okay, something like that. But experiment maybe take time. Questionnaire much easy. You just send and collect. That's it. But experiment is not just one time. Maybe you need go one experiment, second experiment. Because you want to prove, you need to take repeated measures. Okay, I need to test ujian bulanan. Bulan 1, bulan 2, bulan 3, bulan 4. Until end, until 12. You need to have the 12 experiment, let's say. Let's say you discover with supervisor. In order to show the accurate, you need to use the 12 tests. So that's why you need to do experiment. Okay? Right. So your question is quite big in order to answer the experiment, but you need to specify because experiment we have a few things. For example, quasi experiment. So we have the lab experiments. So what we call that your data is something the most important in data. From your data that we can identify that you are experiment or survey. So in order to answer which research study you use in quantitative is according your data. So what's your problem statement? What's your objective? From your objective, we can know that you are survey or experiment. From your problem statement, then we can know that you are actually survey or instrument experiment. Right. Basically, we are actually based on the problem statement and objective. From objective and problem statement, we can know then you are actually survey or experiment. And okay, my question is same with the Shaira about the philosophy of thesis. We need to put in research design with explain separately in your research design. You can write separately. For example, you write research philosophy, research approach. Okay, then you write the research design. But honestly, you can spread. But some people looking confused because why people separately? Because research philosophy and research research philosophy and research prose is one part of research design. But let's say you follow Creswell. Let's say like you go to the founders. Yes, research philosophy and research approach is under umbrella research design. But in your case, you're not use the research. You not use founders. You not follow the founders. You follow the Creswell. In Creswell separately. Then separately. Because we know that, this guy follow the Creswell. So Creswell separately. So that's why you separately. Or you use a founder. So in founders, research philosophy and research prose under umbrella research design. So use a research design. Very simple. Which book you are refer according to represent your research design. You cannot use your own research design. We need to report on my research design, follow the Creswell. According to Creswell, research philosophy and prose separately in research design. Then you separately. Again, itu actually we are based on the scholar. Okay. Next, I'm doing quantitative currently. I do only one theory. It's okay? Okay. Theory, PhD, only one. I have case my student, PhD student, so they use 4 theory. And because they are used 4 theory, during the Viva, get the major correction. So need to have 12 months correction because use 4 theory. The panel said you need only use 1 theory. No need to use the 4 theory because if you use the 4 theory, you need to add your objective. In order to answer your 4 objective, just enough use 1 theory. They repeat, they mention, if you want to use 4 theory, please add another 10 research objective. Okay, that need to restructure the literature review because the wrong and add many theory, suddenly the Viva result major corrections because use many theory. This study is not representing a many theory. Why my student use many theory? Because they follow their friend. Friend mentioned that if you want to study PhD, you need to more theory. A degree, 1 theory. Master, 2 theory. If you want to study PhD, need to 3 or 4 theory. It's not. In quantitative, if your topic just fit in 1 theory, just use 1 theory. You need to be matured. If you work in the industry, why you need to more machine? Why you need to more machine in order to develop one product? We just only one machine can be develop one product in very nice product, efficient product. Why you need to more machine? It seems like PhD. If this one theory can be answer your research objective, just use one. No issue at all. And one theory enough for quantitative research. But if your case is different, because you little bit try to adaptive, you want to add on certain thing that you need to have combined. You cannot be survive only one theory. One theory can answer objective number 1, but this one theory cannot be answer your research objective number 2. Then you need to another theory to support and answer for your research objective number 2. Okay, all right. I'm not doing qualitative, but I want to ask, we must be put theory in the beginning to understand or not compulsory. And in the end, we also need to generate hypothesis and build a theory. Can you explain a little bit confusing? Okay, so more confusing. But you should be know that if you want qualitative use a theory, so what the difference between quantitative and qualitative? in your life, kita ni, dalam kehidupan kita, takkan semua benda nak orang susun. Whatever you do, but just follow and follow. Religion okay lah, but agama memang kita kena ikut kan. But if you want to drink, if you want to take a food, takkan nak semua orang suruh, ini makan nasi, semua makan nasi. So you also you need to flexibility kan, kita nak makan apa and something like that. So why you nak makan berbeza-beza? Sebab I feel today my emotions, bila you cakap feel emotion, that you are actually subjective. So subjective, you need someone, you need not someone, you need something that can be satisfy your needs. Okay, alright. So in this part, you cannot be follow a theory, kan? You cannot be you makan nasi lemak pagi based on theory ke, kan? It's not. So according your feeling, your what we call that the subjective matters. We cannot follow 100% theory, because this theory cannot be understand the human. The study is about the humanistic, about qualitative. Manusia tidak boleh diukur dengan teori semata-mata. But in certain thing, we can use a theory because already scientific proof that this matter kan. Something like you check darah, suhu badan, panas, sejuk. Ini demam ni. Takkan you kata tak demam, dah suhu dah tinggi kan. For example, perut dah berbunyi, takkan tak lapar lagi. So certain thing can be identified by scientific. We can measure by quantitative, but certain thing we cannot be use the qualitative. And you nak mengorat orang pun, you nak tanya dia suka you ke tak, kita tak boleh gunakan kuantitatif. Tengok muka dia suka aku ni. You cannot be identified by quantitative, but you still need qualitative, because this part of emotion is part of the experience, a part of humanistic. And we cannot be measures people and human by quantify. Not people can be assessed by numerical. Okay lah, mata dia ada dua, and your eyes is two, your mulut ada satu, gigi ada berapa. Yeah, that's part you can quantify. You can use for the quantitative, but certain thing you no need to quantify by quantitative, but you need the qualitative. Yes, you can look the attitude people. Okay, you can look attitude. Okay, dia ni baik kot. Tengok luar smart je kan. And for example, about the dressing. Kan, Along dengan scammer lagi smart pada entrepreneur. Kan, dia pun pakai tie juga. It's something like that. Okay, how you differentiate that? Oh, this guy kereta mewah, pakai tie, pakai blazer ni. Very good guy, very smart guy. But if you not really investigate, kan, takut scammer, Along kan. Oh, tengok dia ada business card kan. That's why I'm not use business card. Why I'm not use business card? Because the scammer and Along also use business card. Why I'm not wear the blazer? Because the Along and scammer also use a blazer, use a tie. Kan? But in order to understand the human characteristic, you need to do some observation. You need to check. You need to go to the interview, not the one people. You need to ask their friend, their parent, their clique. You want to investigate them, so you need to more instrument. You cannot be depend. You can use a questionnaire. That questionnaire can answer the all question, all problem. All problem can be answered through the questionnaire. Not all. Questionnaire can be answered if this topic, this area already have a theory. What's meaning the theory? Another word is about the vaccine. Theory is vaccine. Yes, we have problem, but don't worry because we have the vaccine. No problem, I have questionnaire. How come you can develop the questionnaire? Because we have the theory. We have the literature review. That show that how part objectively in quantitative. You don't worry too much because whatever you want to study have the theory testing there. They have many literature to support whatever you want to study. But in qualitative, this is, if you are clear, literature review have already explained, no need to do the qualitative. Why you need to go to Perlis to see durian, mangga harum manis? Why you need to go to the place? You can read a video, you can show watching a video, you can read the article journal, have very clear and detailed about the specifically on the harum manis. Kan? So, in this case, qualitative wrong. No, in this case, I want to check in Perlis. Yes, I know that we have the agriculture on the mangoes and harum manis, but my study is about the people, humanistic. I want to check the Asnaf program. In Perlis and under the Majlis Agama Islam Perlis, they do the Asnaf program. How that the people there in Asnaf do this project on the mangoes harum manis. Dia akan keluar daripada golongan asnaf after 3 years the program. That part cannot be answered through literature. No literature review cover this thing. You cannot get. You're not sure about this. You try ask your friend, no answer. Okay, you check in YouTube, no answer. You go to literature review, no answer. Then you need to go to the qualitative. And that the different is thing. So many things I need to explain, but I think little bit you get my point. Okay. So I just check another question. Okay, I just because already 11:46. Any questions? Siapa-siapa yang saya respond the question tu ada yang you're not satisfied my answer, please ask again. And so far, everything's anyone to add? You can also ask directly ataupun dah cukup dah lewat dah 11:47. I just make it short because I think already 11:47 and so actually the more on 11. So thank you for your question. I love the question because I need your feedback. That's why I start to thinking this evening if I just go to the Zoom teach, but I don't have the question. If you are noticed from the previously class, after we do a class and so I'm asked the question. You have any questions? So you not ask the question. So I'm not sure that you are actually understand or not about the research methodology. Okay. Then today you ask the question. Then I know your level of knowledge. So level of knowledge. So please, if you are studying PhD and master, you need to know that I know that not everyone love about R&D, and if you are decide to study PhD and master, no option at all. You need to love about R&D work. You need read research methodology, and then you need to understand the content on the research methodology. You need to have new hobby. You need to have many theses. You are actually thesis collector. Because I'm PhD, I need more and more thesis. You become thesis collector. You know how to find very good article because you are actually R&D. If you decide to study PhD and master, you are actually a researcher person. You need to work on the R&D. Whatever the thing related of R&D, you love it. Okay, you need to have the soul and feel about the research. Okay, if you don't like the R&D and you tak suka baca buku research method, tak suka cari teori, something like that, it's very difficult to finish your thesis because you don't have passionate on that thing. Okay, so now you already decide, yeah, I'm master student. You are actually PhD student. You are not degree. You're not exam oriented. Okay, researcher is actually you need to investigate. Yeah, you need to explore and deeply. You need to understand. You need to go to the argument. Because in Viva, the question is about why and how. Okay? You write is about what. You show that everything is about what. You find this, you found that. But the question in the Viva is not what. It's about why and how. Kenapa objektif macam ni? Why you write your problem statement like this? How to analyze according your data? Why you choose this research philosophy? And how this philosophy can blend with this philosophy? Why you choose this one? So the question on the Viva is regarding why and how. If you are not understand, in order to answer the why and how, this is not basic knowledge. You actually apply. If you are not apply according whatever you read and understand, how you want to answer the question during the Viva and the proposal defense, most of the question is about why and how. If about what, it's about what, okay, because of basic knowledge. Okay, what is meaning this? What this? What this? But the viva and proposal defense, the question is actually applied because the question is about why and how. Okay, so never mind, and please read as many as you can related on your topic, such as from thesis, from the books, and from the journal. Okay, so I think that I need to stop our discussion. So thank you very much your commitment today. So next week we are planned to another topic that cover on the research methodology. So we not cover on chapter 1 and chapter 2. We have done to cover. So now we are cover a topic on the part on the research method. Okay, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum dan selamat sejahtera dan selamat malam. Good night everyone. Thank you.